Trevor Noah uses imagery to help the reader imagine what he looked like as a teenager. Big, pus-filled black heads and white heads, they started on my forehead, spread down the sides of my face, and covered my cheeks and neck and ravaged me everywhere. This evokes an image of an unconfident Trevor Noah embarrassed by his own face. He then uses metaphor to show how he thought of himself as little more than a small role in other people's lives. Someone who serves a purpose and nothing more. Quote, I was stuck being a clown. He uses metaphor to say how he saw himself as not being worthy of a partner, quote, because I was nobody. Trevor Noah compares himself to have previously been a clown and a nobody because from his experience and his past relationships and what he sees in the mirror, he doesn't think he has any worth outside of his little niche. He then uses simile to convey a sense of sadness and regret at finding out Zahira had moved, she had been interested in him, and that he could have asked her out at any moment if he had the courage. It was like I'd been hit with 3 successive waves of heartbreak, each one bigger than the last. Trevor Noah uses a simile to compare the heartbreak of losing Zahira to being hit with the 3 giant waves. This helps the reader understand the degree to which those revelations. The tone used in Chapter 12 is a remix of his previous comedic tone with a bucket of regret. Trevor Noah is not happy in this chapter, as he sees himself as, quote, an acne-ridden clown with duck feet and floppy shoes. He wants to be with Zahira, but he's afraid of leaving the niche he's designated for himself. He constantly says self-demeaning jokes about how he's less than others, like funny guys get to hang out with the cool guys with their girls, or I was gangly and awkward looking, but he describes Lorenzo as handsome and charming Lorenzo. Trevor Noah uses a self-deprecating tone that shows how he thought of himself when he was a teenager as an ugly funny guy who was less than others. In Chapter 12, Trevor Noah uses an informal autobiographical style, like he is telling a story to a friend. This is demonstrated by his use of personal pronouns like I, we, and me. How he goes on tangents to add exposition about why certain things are important or not, like getting a phone number or how bad his acne was. And how he explains how he felt when certain events happened in the story, like his regret after Zahira moved away, or his feelings about talking to Zahira on the phone. This all adds up to make a style that feels like you're listening to an old friend tell you a story. The ideas and theme of the chapter are know your self-worth. Don't discount yourself because you don't like the way you look or because you think you're less than others. Let yourself be confident in the person you are. Trevor, while having the tone of regret, still adds the element of comedy to it because there's no use in wallowing in your past mistakes, because it's more enjoyable to just look back and laugh, knowing you're better than you were. The final idea is don't let fear hold you back from doing something, because it's better to do it wrong and know that you were wrong than not do it and think what would have happened if you took the chance instead of waiting. The class discussion questions are: was Trevor Noah right to wait in asking Zahira out? How should Trevor Noah have viewed himself differently, if at all? Trevor Noah provides some cultural context to teenagers' view on relationships and friend groups in South Africa when he says things like the funny guy or the cool guy, because they are dramatic simplifications of actual people. This then explains his thinking that he has to play his role because he won't be accepted as anyone else. He then provides some more context to when his stereotypes of what he should act like came from, when he says his plan for Zahira came from American high school movies, a genre that at the time especially was rife with cliches and stereotypes.